operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
So I found something new. What caught my interest long time ago, but I completely forgot about it. It's called the Handbag of the Gods. So before doing a video like this, I like to look at like debunked stuff and like the counter arguments, and all I read is this stuff like they didn't have pockets back in the day, so of course they had bags they carried in their hands, therefore handbags. But there is something very odd about these handbags, and before I get into that, I try to make you look at this video I saw by Dr. David Miano or something, and they call it what is it again? Handbag of the Gods, mystery solved. Alright, now this is how they solve it. There we
go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the study of antiquity and the Middle Ages. As always, I'm your host, Nick Barksdale, and today we are joined by a very special guest, Dr. Miano. Dr. Miano, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate being here.
And so now we come to a popular and widespread topic, and that is the subject of ancient handbags. You've probably read about them. I know they've been in Ancient Aliens. And so, Dr. Miano, would you talk to us about ancient handbags? Why were they?
That's like a little punch under the bell already, you know. I know they've been on Ancient Aliens. You know, that's not really highly regarded as, very, scientific, or, that's just, it's good when you smoke a little bit of weed or anything, and, just want to go, what if ever, but, alright.
Used, why were they depicted, but more importantly, why have they produced so many conspiracy theories?
I guess, well, in answer to the last question first, I think when you're holding a container of any kind, everyone's automatically going to think like, what's in there, But as far as what they are, it depends on what culture we're talking about. This is something that
All right. I'm probably going to cut through this, and then because these, so-called gods that they are depicted, they hold them very, how do you say it? Very in view, it's got to have a meaning. Instead of, just to hold water, like it's going to tell you, or something else.
lost ancient high technology folks do all the time, and that is they will look at similarities of some kind of object between cultures.
That's what we humans do, yeah, alright. Ever saw the face on Mars? I mean, 99% is going to be BS, but yeah, that's what we do with our mind. But when we find these handbags, and there's a lot of other details I'll get into later, not in one area and not in one time era, you find them all over the globe throughout thousands of years. It's got to have a little bit more meaning than what's in there, it's water holding containers.
And they'll assume a link, right? Oh, look at over here, they have this, and they also have it over here. They do it with pyramids too, right? They must be connected, right? You have to.
Yeah, Well, I'm also probably gonna do a video about this line that circles the globe and that connects. It's like if you make it like 100 kilometers wide, that line. It goes. If you start at like Easter Island and you connect it with Giza, and you go that all around the planet, it hits so many of those mysterious sites. But later.
To like see the links.
This guy, he see links. I'm also gonna look in what kind of doctor this guy is.
As far as archaeology goes, though, in order to assume that something is connected, right? Like we call it a culture or an assemblage where you have a bunch of artifacts from, like, say, two neighboring communities that look very similar. You know, when you have a lot of links like that, like look.
If Africa and South America are neighboring, yeah, then he's correct. But
look at this and look at that. They both look the same, not only in one area, but in a bunch of different areas. You assume that there was influence between them, right? But the further apart in time they get and the further away in space they get.
all right, the two ones on the left, they're Samaria and Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, and somewhere in Iraq probably. But the one on the right is, I think, like an Inca thingy, but at least South American. So that's already, you know, pretty strange.
You know, the less likely it is. And a lot of the lost ancient high technology folks just look at any one similarity and they assume a link. And that's what they do with the handbags, right? Now, just in general, do you think that a handbag is something that there's no chance that two independent cultures could come up with on their own?
I love that argument. They have the same argument about the pyramids, you know, South America and Egypt, you know. Well, it's the most easy structure to make. That's why they're all similar. You know, there's thousands of pyramids in China. But
right? It's a very simple device, right? Anyone could come up with that. It doesn't matter what culture you're from. You don't need to learn it from another culture, right? You can invent it yourself.
Unless it contains something and it's symbolic for something. And my thought, it contains knowledge. Or maybe, like I think Hancock said it, psychedelics. You know, because I think that psychedelics really helped to evolve our minds much more quickly as without.
On your own, thinking.
Oh man, I'm making this video, so here, hold on. We're gonna go to a commercial break. Yeah, this one. Just how I paused it. I mean, look at the guy's eyes. I think he's been dabbing into those handbags himself a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bill Hicks. If you like comedy, if you like Bill Burr and that kind of comedy, Doc Stanhope, you don't know Bill Hicks, he's gonna blow your socks off.
You know what I mean? I believe that God left certain drugs growing naturally upon our planet to help speed up and facilitate our evolution. Okay, not the most popular idea ever expressed. Either that or you're real high and agreeing with me in the only way you can right now. I forgot the code. Is it 2 blinks yes, 1 blink no? Do you think magic mushrooms growing atop cow shit was an accident? Where do you think the phrase, "that's good shit," came from? Why do you think Hindus think cows are holy? Holy shit. Why do I think McDonald's is the Antichrist?
Wouldn't this be a much better world if we had shows, not like this, but some But then there's a commercial break, and it's this kind of positive shit instead of stuffing, you know, whatever down your throat.
That's God's little accelerator pad for our evolution. Just think about this, man. For billions of years, sorry, fundamentalists, we were nothing but apes. Probably too stupid to catch a cow, you know. I think we can go to the moon.
And if you never saw 2001: A Space Odyssey, gotta watch that too.
That is exactly how it fucking happened.
Alright, that was the commercial break. But I saw in the beginning that it reminds me of the Stone Ape Theory. I think that's like really a book or something. That, yeah, the Stone Ape Theory. Let me write that down before I forget it, because that's my problem. So much shit in my head, and so little room to keep it in. Like this paper, you know, you gotta write it sideways. So the Stoned Ape Theory is about that drugs facilitate our evolution. Which, if you ever taken psychedelics, not ecstasy or coke with it, you know, but yeah, it's very profound, and it can, I think, very well be a reason that we've been very quickly in our evolution at a certain point. You know, for 300,000 years we were like modern humans, Homo sapiens. If you had a time machine, you go back 300,000 years and you snatch a baby, bring it over to this time, you put it in school and everything. It will have the same opportunities as every other human being. But how come that via what we are being taught in school, the modern civilization only began 8,000 years ago, you know, with the Sumer and Mesopotamia. Bam! All of a sudden it was there, out of the blue. 1 minute we were throwing spears at whatever, and the next moment, you know, we were. I can't think of the words, but you know what I mean. If you know, it went very quickly. All this knowledge. All right, I think I'm gonna press pause because I lost my train of thought again. Alright.
Of it, devising it all by yourself. You need something more than that to connect them. So, like in my Handbags video, I go through the different cultures. Now, the one that gets all the attention, most of the attention, is the Assyrian one. So you see like these figures on the Assyrian palaces, and they often have human bodies and animal heads, like you'll see the head of a bird or something like that. And they're called the Apkallu in Assyrian, and they are minor deities, right? They're protector spirits. We know this from their actual writings. That's another thing people don't often do. They just look at the art and they don't look at the writings.
The Sumerians he's talking about, not the other ones. But okay.
You need to do both to figure out what things are. But that's what they're called in the writings, the Apkallu, and they're protector spirits. And that's why they're in the palace, because they're...
And what are they protecting? Maybe, mankind? Because they just came out of some cataclysm and they were here to install their knowledge on them, on these poor, hunter-gatherers, cave-dwelling Homo sapiens who haven't had any psychedelics maybe for 280,000 years, and then they come along with this, basket of goodies, and they start handing out to the to the shamans and the smart people in the congregation, or what you call it, and maybe they nudge them in the right direction a little bit, and they give them some astronomy lessons and some math lessons and some how do you say Bailey and grasses and weeds, when you crossbreed, when you crossbreed you can get a stronger kind, because it started right there in that area, and from there everything sprung out. But
protecting people who walk through the corridors and through the gates and so forth. And they're carrying these things that people call handbags, but in reality, they're not handbags in this instance. They're buckets. These are buckets to carry water.
And water buckets.
And what they're doing in a lot of the imagery is carrying these buckets of water to the sacred date palms to water them. These buckets.
Where do you get it? Well, now you do it.
Water. And what they're doing in a lot of the imagery is carrying these buckets of water to the sacred date palms to water them, along with to the buckets. These are buckets to carry water. And what they're doing in a lot of the imagery is carrying these buckets of water to the sacred date.
What imagery are you talking about? I haven't seen any images of, these godlike creatures holding the pineapple and having all these same little gadgets around their wrists, walking to any ponds. The water bearer, is that the age they were in? Aquarius is the water bearer, right? So that's not
palms to water them, along with basically what looks like a pine cone, but this is and a piece of date palms to pollinize the date palms.
Yeah, especially how they hold them. They hold them in their hand like this, I kind of like the same height where your pineal gland is, which is, they call it the third eye, if you take that psychedelic kind of shit. That's where all those, magical stuff comes from. All these weird ideas and this feeling of connectedness with the whole universe, But, he's just trying to shrub it off in a very, I think, dumb way for a doctor. Once again, I'm going to look into, what the guy studied.
And we know that they're buckets because we have other Assyrian art which shows actual people, not gods in this case, but actual people carrying the buckets full of stuff, of other things. And they're called Dalu, that's the Assyrian name for them. And we've actually found in archaeology the buckets that look just like them, so we know that they're buckets. But as far as other cultures are concerned, there are some that are handbags. So, for example, if you look at the Native American imagery, there's one on Olmec art, for example, a famous one where he's holding what looks like a purse. And there's some Native American art. Those probably are incense bags, actual bags, Yeah. But there's no indication in any of them that they're connected with each other or that there are.
And it's like he's presenting it. You see that? And what he just said was so bullshitty. You know, if you're like really, you know, if you say oranges really quickly, you know, it sounds like gullible. Try it. But you know, if people stop to think, and it has to also the pineal gland is being fluoridized, you know, and that helps the electricity in top there, but it's a whole different thing. But yeah, of course they found buckets in archaeology. Yeah, at a certain point we were using buckets, you know, put the grain in or water holes and stuff like that. So you're gonna find that stuff. But these gods, you know, these very meticulously crafted beings, especially the Sumerian one, so much time went into making that you know that statue, or you know the depiction, and then like I said, the way he's holding it, and having the pineal gland, and then the strange thing around his wrist, and it looks like he's got like this leg that's like from something out of a Terminator movie.
They are some kind of you know, high-tech
God,
object, right?
I'm running low.
They're buckets, they're bags. These are just basic human instruments. Nothing to write home about.
That's it.
So in short, I'm really sorry to disappoint some of you, but the chances of them containing a nuclear launch code probably isn't that real.
Very disappointed I am.
Yeah. I actually had someone argue with me on my YouTube channel that the Apkallu, you know, that shows them with the animal heads and the human bodies, were real. This person actually believed that they were real. Like,
It's like, you know, say oranges really quickly. There's a lot of people that believe in the flat earth theory. You know, I kind of dabbled in it, you know, some time ago. But, you know, logic wins. But they put on these kind of these kind of doctors, and well, better ones than this, and they use a lot of fancy words, and you know they go to their university, so that has some validation, some weight with it, and then the people that are very orangey. One just left left the White House. These orangey people, they tend to fall for that, and that's why they bring out shills like this. I think, my opinion.
this is not a mythological creature. This is a real life creature. I guess that was somehow created through genetic engineering or something like that.
And to our subscribers, also remember, check out the links in the video description below. And I'm actually going to include his video on handbags. I think many of you are really going to love that. It's very interesting, and I can't recommend it enough. Ladies and gentlemen.
You almost said it right. I can't recommend it enough. You know, it's... I don't recommend it, I think. You know, it's that it's kind of like the train of thought. Like there used to be so many like polytheistic, you know, a lot of gods. There used to be like 3,000 or something, and you know, when you're like atheist, you come to speak to maybe a creationist. You can say that, you know, you're like really almost alike. Because from the 3,000 God, I don't believe in none of them. No Zeus or, you know, Yahweh, whatever. And he doesn't believe in 2,099 of them. So just one left. You know, just hit that one out of the park, and we can start exploring space maybe.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining us here today at the study of antiquity and the Middle Ages on our
pleasure.
series where
And thanks for all the pictures you showed us. But I got a couple. But fuck, how long am I running now? Well, it's already at almost 30 minutes. So what I'm gonna do, I'm also gonna make this a two-parter. Or at least the other guy, that doctor, he had a one-parter, so I assume he's got a two-parter. So yeah, let's keep it under half an hour, and let's try to figure out a way to yeah, cut some time out of it. But I don't want to cut too much. I want to make it look authentic and just me just blabber, ranting and raving, and not like scripted. You see a lot, some people are very crafty in it. They pause and cut and start over again, but they don't really let it show, because they're really trying to get in the same position standing, and it's I think very ingenuous. So, but I just started it, so maybe I'll get there one day too. Maybe they all started very genuine, and I don't know. We'll see. First, I gotta get some viewers. Alright, knock it off.